Welcome to Balance Boldly, the podcast where we get bold about our balance and campaign to shake the shame that stunts our growth. I'm your host, Naketa Thigpen, balance and relationship advisor for bold women in business and a few brave men. Oh my goodness. Can you believe we are literally at the end of the season of the High Achievers Consequence? We've been on a roll. We've been doing so much since March for this. It's been amazing. This is, it's so ridiculous and I'm so excited. We do have one more bonus episode in the queue for this. That'll come out next week. But for the most part, this is the official end of the High Achievers Consequence. And we've talked about everything from the perfectionistic paralyzation, I'll be making up phrases, to being an overextender regretter, to the quick committing quitters. We've been talking about everything. And today, the Naketa-isms and everything else will not end because we're going to have some shell chat-isms. Holla! For everybody who's listening today. You hear Sheldon laughing, don't you? I want to take a second to introduce this beautiful woman. Her bio is fantastic. It's 25 pages long, so I'm not even going to read it because she's phenomenal and she's done so much in her life. I had the opportunity to meet her. Gosh, I feel like it's been over a year at this point because she's had a baby and everything in the middle of it. Cheldin Barlatt Rumer is an amazing personality for one. She has her own show called This Is It TV that airs live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern on Facebook. She's also been doing This Is It for an extremely long time in various different ways as a daily show and a lifestyle channel that I have to say with the various is because the evolution has been powerful. I've seen her go from the live audiences and the kind of a brick and mortar stage one to being more about her own balance and self-care, especially with this new beautiful baby with these gorgeous blue eyes, and making sure that she does things that are not even just in alignment with herself and her lifestyle, but allow her business to grow with IG Creative. She's phenomenal. She's an entertainment reporter for SNJ Today, a correspondent from MainStreetCEO.com, and so many other fundraisers and compliments to her life as on the board of directors for Grifts and Gives and 501c3 profits. I mean, the woman is the epitome of a high achiever, okay? I have to welcome Sheldin as someone who is a sister friend, a power partner, and just her smile brightens up any room. So if you haven't had an opportunity to see her, believe me, you need to check her out Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern on This Is It TV. Sheldin, welcome to the Balance Boldly podcast. How are you?
Oh, I am lovely. I mean, who needs anything else when you have an intro like that? Hello. I mean, this is wonderful. So blessed. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for those kind words. Those were wonderful.
No, you're welcome. I remember who was it? Jason Edelman that introduced us a year and a half ago. I think Jason's had another baby or two since we talked.
So insane. It's contagious. So you better be careful.
I'm not drinking that water. I don't know what y'all drinking, but I'm just not doing it. I know you saw on Facebook not too long ago when I posted, it was a little meme, those little Facebook quizzes that said, yes, you're going to have a beautiful baby boy this year. I was like, nope. I can't. You're hilarious. So I would love for you to share with every one of the listeners, the bold women and brave men of the Balance Boldly podcast, just who you are and how you've journeyed to the space that you are now, being what I consider a media mogul. You are doing it, girl, on every level. Please share.
Thank you. So it began in a way that, I wanted so much when I was younger, right? I just really didn't, but I didn't know what it entailed. I knew that I always wanted to be self-employed. I knew that I always wanted to be a CEO before I knew what a CEO truly meant. Mm-hmm. At the beginning, I thought it was the corner office and the glass conference room tables and all of those things. And I thought that is what I aspired to do. And for a very young age, I, not to age myself, but the truth be told, I started in this space at the height of the .com scenario. So all of my friends from college were starting .coms based here in the Philadelphia area. So it was everything from aroundphilly.com to Philly Tonight to all of these wonderful platforms that then a few of them still exist, which is a wonderful thing and a testament to them. And so I found myself really being part of the marketing space and really being able to throw myself into the event creation and driving viewership and driving engagement before I even knew what any of those things meant. It was, okay, how am I going to get as many eyeballs as possible to log in, log on, sign up, you know, and what was the magnitude behind that? And again, with the back of my mind being, I want to be a CEO, I want to be a CEO, I want to be a CEO, until I actually did the work and knew that the actual work was far more important than the title. And that is what really turned a corner for me, you know, aside from the valleys in which I, you know, was forced to kind of visit every now and then. And when I say valleys, it was really about those hardships that come in that entrepreneurial process, those hardships that come from not knowing, taking a chance, and doing the wrong things, right? Going left when you should have gone right, and just but still being willing to get back in the car and drive and find that lane and really focus on that. So it was really about creating an agency for me. I had, you know, through these journeys of becoming a CEO, you know, based on the fact that I was inexperienced and I was far too young with far too much energy. My goal was to, you know, how do I learn? How do I really take my place, you know, as a CEO, as a mogul, as an entrepreneur? How can I do that without really knowing? How can I do that without having the experience? So I went into the hospitality space and opened a series of different restaurants, was able to be part of the launch team for a hospitality group, MGM Grand, as well as, you know, a large scale casino in Atlantic City called the Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa. I was part of their inaugural team. Out of 5,000 employees, I was number 269. And wow. So was there before the building had walls, and there before we were able to, you know, really usher in a launch of such magnitude. And so with that, I got a lot of hard knocks. I got to learn. I got to be in this space. And a project like Borgata, that is still thriving to this day, you know, is full of hospitality and spas and entertainment and all of the different attributes of lifestyle that I knew that I wanted to be a part of. And it was like having every single ideal client under one roof and having to really give, you know, a crash course in being a true marketer, a crash course in being proficient within the space. Once I knew that I had gathered up what I felt to be at the time, you know, and, you know, a lot of experience, I wanted to head back to the Philadelphia area where I went to college at LaSalle University here in Philadelphia, and, you know, go out on my own, you know, go out on my own and start consulting. And I began consulting, and I created an agency called IG Creative, where we really help our clients, big and small, with grassroots marketing campaigns, helping them find what I like to call their marketing voice. When we began having these conversations, I was then at that point poised to get my clients ready for PR and marketing opportunities. So they needed to get comfortable in front of the camera. They needed to get comfortable telling their story. And so, because I'm not shy by any stretch of the imagination, I began interviewing them in front of the camera. And with that is where This Is It TV began. They began to share the content with their communities. They began to share their content with their colleagues, and others would come to me asking me to interview them. And organically, a digital series, you know, came to life. And so I've been really concentrating on that moving forward. So really taking the skills, the know-how, my entrepreneurial spirit, and utilizing that not only to just execute, but now to be a storyteller. And that is really where I've now found my lovely, happy place, and where you and I have met. So that was wonderful.
No, it's been phenomenal. I mean, just your story, your journey alone, which was like the 100,000 view perspective, obviously, because we would need like 5 chapters worth of Balance Boldly podcast to go through, because you've done so much. And I say that from a space of not that place where a lot of people are like, oh, you're doing too much, because I used to hear that all the time too. But you've done so much that you've succeeded at, and you learned when to quit from things that just weren't serving you anymore, which is hard for a lot of people. Some people hold on to things until their own wheels fall off, not just the wheels of the vehicle that they're holding on to. And you've been able to say, you know what? This has been long enough. Let me evolve it, not necessarily just throw the baby out with the bathwater, but let me evolve it into something that's a little bit more reflective of my truest nature, of my purpose, of my skill set. And the first time that I was on your show over in Jersey with the live audience, I told you right there, I said, I feel like I'm sitting next to Oprah Winfrey. Like, this is ridiculous. I remember, Cheldin, watching you, when you're doing like your intro portion, and you were totally unscripted. Maybe you had something memorized in your head. I don't know, but you didn't have a piece of paper or nothing. You just had a cute little dress on, sitting down with that beautiful staging that you had. And you spoke for, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes for your intro. And it sounds like perfection. You were amazing. Like, I stutter over my own name sometimes. That's just, that's just how I talk. My husband teases me and says that I'm the speaker who can't speak because I'm like constantly messing up words. But I'm like, it's just me. You fold your flaws or fix them. It's all right. Fold them in or throw them away. And you were just like perfectionist. So it made sense when you told me that, I'm an adjunct professor at Temple. I'm helping these kids with advertising and personal branding because this is what you do. You pull the youth up and you get them to a space where they can walk in their excellence and become future clients. Like, yes. You know what you're doing.
I am. And then it's really about building community for me now. And I think that, it takes a while. And I when you're speaking with these, I shouldn't call them children, but these students, they're in a space that I was in as well, where again, I was 21, I graduated and I was entitled. I was a millennial before millennials were a thing. And it was like a thing where it was, I want to be a CEO today. I have no reason to be a CEO. I don't even know what the job entails, but I know that I want to be a leader and I know that I want to run all of this. Yeah. There was no way that could have happened without me knowing what needed to be done well, how to do it, where to get it, none of those things. So the journey was long, as you said, and believe me, and it continues to happen. But my ability and my willingness to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Yes. And that is really now what I live in, on a regular basis, is really that space of like, okay, today is not easy, but I will not live in this moment of discomfort forever. No. There's going to be a situation where I'll be able to move forward in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And I will get out of where I am today into a positive tomorrow. I have to believe that. And instead of it being a downfall, and believe me, before Borgata, there was a downfall. And before, This Is It TV, there was all of these things, there were these valleys. I choose to call them, and you and I think have used this word or abused this word, but the pivots, you know what I mean? It's the ability to take that step, in an opposite direction. And it could be a quick and swift step in order to be able to recognize where I am today is not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. I need to be, to forgive myself for the mistakes that I've made. Same. And I need to move in another direction. And, that is the hardest part, though, I believe, is that forgiveness of yourself, like the ability to look at other people and say, no, you're right. I didn't make the right decision. Right. That wasn't a good idea. To humble yourself enough to say that I don't have all of the answers. Mm-hmm. And to be able to be comfortable, again, my journey is long. So the woman that worked at Borgata Hotel, Casino and Spa was not married, had no children, did not live in the suburbs of New Jersey. So the wants of this woman that's on this podcast today isn't the same as the young woman that started, in the hospitality industry back then. So there needed to be a series of pivots along the way. There needed to be.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, for every new shift that you were craving in your life, there was going to be not only the shaking of the ground underneath of you, but some of those walls had to come down, starting with you and your own expectation to like just deal with the reality that there were things that you were going to want in tomorrow's future, your beautiful daughter, your beautiful son, the bonus kid, like all of that.
There is no bonus kid.
Right?
There's no bonus kid.
I think he is the bonus kid. He is so gorgeous.
He is the bonus kid. There's no more though.
That's what you say, but okay. Like, okay. So we having a conversation 9 months later. And I'm like, and Sheldon's back on Balance Boldly with her beautiful bundle of 3. But know, like I totally agree with you that those shifts had to be different. And if you're still breathing, you're still on the journey. Like that's the reality. Like I don't care if your journey before was, you know what, I just want to get to 2 figures. I want to get to 5 figures. I want to get to 6. It doesn't matter. With each new shift, you're still, if you're breathing, you're still here, and there are new walls to bring down, including the ones that belong to you, to your point with forgiving yourself, because I believe that a lot of it is just breaking our own expectation. You know, I had an expectation of myself 7 years ago when in 2011, May 9th, in the middle of the night, when I seeded the whole idea to my husband of like, listen, I had been sitting on this vision privately that I had, you know, at that point, almost 9 months prior, and was too nervous to even admit out loud to him, for him, you know, to think that I was crazy. I finally had the conversation with him back in May 2011, and I had a different expectation of where it would be when we would open the doors. I'm like, oh, because we're going to make $65,000 a month doing this and that. And,
amen.
Right. And that is not what my reality was. Not even 1/20th of that reality. And right. And that math was probably wrong too. Like, you know, like it just wasn't. I did not expect to go out and be a person of integrity, to be eaten up by people who were just sniffing out the new prey. Oh, you're a new business owner? You need this, you need that. Let me sell you this, let me sell you that. Let me get into your network. Who do you know? Oh, you used to work at Chop. Who can you, like, it was ridiculous. And dealing with that broken expectation of, okay, I thought I would really be making $65,000 a month by, you know, said point, and I thought my network would be this and this, and moving from that space of, okay, now my personal relationships are different because of the expectation that was tethered to point A, which was the business. It has, because it did not go in that way, and in fact, we lost a lot of money. My husband was looking at me like, so what you about to do about this life? Like, you know, how are you going to handle this? Because you got to sit in this role. And my children are like, what you mean I can't continue to be on soccer and dance and take 3 classes? What you mean we need to cut back? Like, this has been our life for the last 8-9 years. What do you mean business has changed? And, you know, what do you mean we're moving from this house? Like, there was a lot of things that snowballed out of that. And I had to forgive myself at each and every stage, and in order to make room for the new blessing. So I completely align. And you know I do, because we have all kinds of offline conversations.
We do.
Listen, life gets real. And I think for all the listeners that are here, that are participating in this conversation kind of virtually with us, it's the reminder to you that everybody goes through something. Everybody does. But what kind of support do you have? How honest are you willing to be so you can get the right support and process? And what kind of excuses are you going to remove out of your way to get to the next level? Like you and I were talking about some of the work that you've done, and you have This Is It TV, and it's a daily digital series, and you guys are, I know you have all kinds of beautiful product with hashtag scream your dream. Listen, you know, I love it. And it's so pivotal, and it's like earth shattering when you say it, because it's right, like scream your dream, and how you're monetizing that as another level of just your truth. It is simply your truth. Tell everyone about that.
And it's interesting because, I mean, you look at what it is that you're going to do, and to be transparent, you know, we're self-made people, correct?
Yes.
And those people that are listening now are on the journey of being self-made, or are currently self-made. And when that comes to truth, and when you're doing that, you're looking to be able to build community. You're looking to be able to strengthen the people who follow, fan, and like you, the people who purchase your product or service. You're looking to share your value. All of these different things. And so often, you know, I have been working with people in the marketing space where my sole job was to speak for those that didn't know how to speak for themselves as a marketer, or weren't interested or didn't have time. And for me, the cupcake lady, I'd rather have you be baking cupcakes all day and allow for me to utilize my voice to sell your cupcakes. That is my job. That people ask me, like, what do you do? I said, I do nothing. All I do is speak for those that do, right? Somebody else is building the bicycle. Somebody else is pressing the t-shirt. Somebody else is making the cupcakes. It's my job to sell the bike, to sell the t-shirt, to sell the cupcakes. And so now I'm in a position where I'm encouraging those cupcake bakers, those the builders of the bicycles to be able to find their own voice, because once they find their own voice, they can begin to have conversations that monetize their own lives.
Right.
And not be held prisoner to those that are speaking for them, and not be in a situation where they can't go to go to a networking event or go to an opportunity and be able to share their story. And as you know, there is, no longer is networking confined to events that serve warm Chardonnay and cold hummus. Now it is a scenario where it's the soccer field, the grocery store.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Where you're literally running into friends from high school and they're asking you, what are you doing? What are you up to? And you have remortgaged your house, haven't seen a friend, has put everything into making these bracelets in your basement, but you cannot begin to say out loud what you are doing for the rest of your life. You cannot be able to say out loud why somebody should buy that bracelet, why somebody should go to your website, why somebody should buy that book. So for me, it's really about making sure that no one lives in the whisper, that people no longer whisper their wishes, that they scream out loud and scream their dream. And so for me, it's so important for me to be able to be that kind of inspiration and share that with as many people as possible. And I knew that there needed to be outlets in order for that to happen. So I knew that I needed to have the show and that it needed to be daily, because it's a religious experience for me too. Because every day, instead of it being every Friday, I get inspired. Every other Saturday, I get inspired, or once a month, I get inspired. I need to be inspired every day. So I'm going to be committed to doing it every single day. So I knew that it needed to be a daily show. And then I also knew, okay, how can I bring this inspiration into people's lives? And what other way to do that in addition to being digital, but for people to be able to wear it? Like, wear your inspiration, remember it. You know what I mean? In the lack of getting a tattoo on your arm for you to scream your dream, what are ways that you can carry this with you always? And so we, found a really great company out of Arizona that's helping us in creating a merchandising program, similar to a merchandising program that you would have for any other, major brand or a resort somewhere. It's just t-shirts and tote bags and those types of things. But what's really interesting about what we're creating is that through Scream Your Dream, we are asking you to purchase a t-shirt or a tote bag, but we want you to send us the picture of you wearing that Scream t-shirt.
I love that.
Or that you're wearing that Scream Your Dream. And I'm going to share that with our community with a link back to what you are screaming about every day. So it's not, I'm just asking you to buy my stuff so you can buy my stuff and you know what I mean? I can continue to support my production and da-da-da. It's more than that. It's about utilizing this tool to strengthen and support the reason why I created this in the first place, to help people scream their dream. And, and in turn, it does support me in full transparency. It allows for me to continue to do what I do, but it's also, creating a collaboration out of a traditional sense. So I don't want people to whisper anymore. You have dedicated too much time, too much effort, and too much money, frankly, to be walking around in a whisper. It's time for people to be bold, as you say, and for them to scream out loud. So that's my goal.
No, I absolutely love that. And I have to add to your last statement that the value is valuable. So you're offering all this value to people and you're helping them to literally, one of our taglines is break the box, then balance boldly. But you're helping them break their own boxes, starting with their voice box and understand that they have a message inside of them. And no matter how great their product or service or program is, if no one hears about it, literally, figuratively, online, socially, whatever, then they become that best kept secret. And I'm sorry, I'm from Philadelphia, and I know there are lots of, people who love having that hairdresser that they don't want to share, that they don't want to tell nobody about, because like, she's too good, I don't want to have to share her. I don't want to be anybody's best kept secret.
I don't.
That is not, I don't necessarily have to, be on the front cover of XYZ magazine necessarily. Ain't nothing wrong with it. That's not necessarily one of my aspirations. However, I don't want to be so awesome and so secretive that I got the same 2 clients and I'm trying to chase after them every month to pay me. No.
And it's about understanding where you want to be. I was speaking to an artist, a young artist who, was questioning the commercialism, of their space. And they wanted, they want to be taken seriously as an artist. They want to be able to do, and I was very blatant about the fact, do you want to eat?
Yeah.
Do you want to eat? Do you want to be able to utilize your gift, which is your ability to create beautiful, beautiful art? Do you want that to be able to support you as a living? And then do you want to be able to share what it is that you deem worthy with as many people as possible? Because you can be an artist in your basement by yourself, not making any money, but being able to create things that you enjoy and that you love. Or you can sacrifice, some time, go to market with something that you might not necessarily be passionate about, so you can support what it is, in fact, that you were passionate about, and scream your dream in that way. All of us are living sacrifices, in order to scream our dreams. What the conflict comes in, truthfully, is a lot of people that think that they can have dreams without a little bit of sacrifice. And it's not even a little bit, without significant sacrifice. And there's just no shortcuts to a forever dream. In my scenario, you want your family to live off of your dream for generations. You want to be retired off of it. You want your children to never have to want for anything, but you think that that's going to happen in 3 months.
Right. Shut up.
You know what I mean? Like, you think that it's going to happen in 3 months. Your generations are going to live off of your sacrifice for a 3-month period of time. And that's not reality.
Right.
So in getting comfortable with your scream and getting comfortable with your marketing voice also requires you understanding not only being comfortable to being uncomfortable, but a sense of patience in your journey, and a sense of commitment that you have, even with the pivot, commitment that you have to whatever it is that you're doing, and knowing that if it's worth doing, that you are going to get there, through perseverance. And
Absolutely.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking to, I think, both the entrepreneurs and those entrepreneurial leaders that are in other organizations, right? Because the reality is there's a lot of women and men, those few brave men, that are in these powerful positions or have the qualifications for powerful positions, but they didn't negotiate. And then they're technically in $180,000 role, but they're being paid $120,000. Where the legacy that they could create is so much different with that $60,000 difference. Okay, like it's a big difference, but they were literally whispering, and they just kind of accepted anything. So I think you're speaking to both those people who are sitting in those organizations that are traditionally entrepreneurial, but they have an entrepreneurial spirit. And then the traditional entrepreneurs that, I need to take a minute to take a pause and say, I need everybody to stop using this hashtag woke when they're not awake in the first place, because they're like, exactly, hashtag sleep. Because to your point, you made such a valuable point. There's people who are coming into the space that may have even been in the space, but they are like dragging their feet in a way saying, I just need 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And they might have been saying it for the last 15 years, whatever. But first of all, be realistic. You're not willing to do the work that you would need to do for it to be, that kind of brand in 3 months. So if you want your brand to be at a certain level, well, I think the IG creative package is like $20,000 a month. If you want to do that in 3 months, well, I have to bring in 8 of my team members to do, what I mean? Like, but if you're saying, well, actually, Cheldin, I need your team to write all the copy. I need you to pull all the R&D stats. I need you to figure out what my new look is going to be so I can represent this new message that I was not able to cultivate before you helped me pull out my story in the first place. Like, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But, I need your team to do all this, and I have $250 a month. You're not getting there in 3 months.
And it's okay. And there's no shame to your 250, because living in reality is also an authentic space. Exactly. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel anybody, I don't want to be, and I know you don't want to either, is for anybody to be shamed, because again, we've both been there only having 250.
Yes.
But live and understand the power of that 250 and value that 250 in a way that you're doing it in a realistic space. And there's no shame in having zero money.
Right.
But that means that the work needs to be different. That means that you must scream louder, because a whisper will never work. with
Not,
no budget.
and you won't disqualify the $20,000 value by trying to get it for $250 like that. And you know what, girl, don't listen. So, and that's the bigger point, is sometimes we'll have people who are like, no, I need to do this in 3 months. IG Creative has everything that I want to go and I want to do it. But I'm only going to pay your team to, like, no, we can get you there. We can make it work. But it's probably going to be closer to 18 months with you doing a lot more heavy lifting than you would have to if I was able to bring in 8 team members to dedicate to your specific situation. And I think that that's what a lot of people miss. It's definitely a not. I agree with you 100%. Like, honey, we have had, I don't even eat oodles and noodles, and we have lived off of oodles and noodles, okay? So, like, it's real. Like, the life gets real, even before being an entrepreneur.
Right.
But...
Yes. Yes.
But you got to be realistic about people's value too. And I think on the other side of that, as the entrepreneur offering the value, sometimes we have that regret and shame of turning someone away. And I know I've been there, just speaking, pointing to my top of my head. I've been there like, oh, I want to help them so bad. And then what happens? We do it. And then what happens? What kind of client do they turn in when we gave them the $20,000 value for $250, this made up number that I just pulled out of the air, and they turn into the client that's like acting like they pay you $50,000 a month, and they dominate all of your time and energy and drive you insane.
Because the issue is that you're coming in a number of different ways. Either you're launching or you're losing, right? So it's either a situation where you're getting somebody where they're already broken, and you must rebuild, or they haven't built yet at all, right? So it's very rarely, and I would love to say that the majority of us come to us unbroken, and they're like, help me not get broken, right? So it's usually either I'm starting up and I want to be able to start off with, a clarity and create a structure, and those, we thrive off of. But the truth of the matter is, and again, nothing wrong with those that are out there that need help, because the key is for you to stay and recognize that you need help. Is that we're in that space. And so when you are in that space, very oftentimes you are in a space where you are so hungry that your stomach is growling so loud that you can't have clarity in your thoughts. And so everything is a hustle. Everything is a rush. Everything is the desperation we talked about a little bit offline that you have forces you to make decisions you would otherwise not make. And so we have to be, as the service providers, have to create that balance, right? We have to be able to lead the conversation. So we're working within boundaries. We're working, within realistic deliverables, and we're getting you to a really great place. And I think that, in doing so and working with you, whether it be one-on-one or within a group, and I know that you work so hard to do this, and I do as well, is to get your clients to an authentic space where they're being real and honest with you, because there's no way to help them, or for you to even help yourself, if you are not honest with yourself about where you currently are. If you are broke, say you are broke. If you have $5, say you have $5. If you say you only have an idea and no product, own that. Own where you stand. Be okay with the position you are within your position. That is what I am currently stressing to so many of you, because you will come to a consultant, you will come to a coach, you will come to an agency, and you will bring all this fraudulent language and fraudulent behavior that we can't help you based on fiction. We can only help you based on reality, based on nonfiction.
Absolutely. No, you said it so well. Like, it's one of those moments where you're like, I always have something to add. I can't even add anything to that. That's powerful. And you put, literally using that word position, you positioned it perfectly. And I hope that all of the listeners listening heard that so clearly. And wait till I get to the gentle honesty moment. It's like such a great capture. So Cheldin, with all the work that you're doing, and as we wrap up, I want you to tell people how you unapologetically pause for you.
I do. It's the babies. It is the babies. I mean, I think that, and believe me, having that entrepreneurial spirit from a very young age, like I thought that I was, tough, and I thought that I was unbreakable. But and this isn't necessarily about giving birth, you know what I mean? Necessarily for those that haven't, and for those, it's about finding something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It's about whatever that is. Whatever, it could be your dog, it could be your nephew or your niece, it could be your friend, it could be an elderly person that you take care of. It could be finding something that you look at and you can mirror your accomplishments, you can mirror your strength, you can look at it and say, when I look at this object, or I look at this person, or I look, like, live within this experience, I am my full self. And my children are that for me. Yeah. And, without getting emotional, it is a situation where, to look at them, they are the best of who I am. And the fact that I have been lucky enough and blessed enough to not only be a creator, because there's one thing to create children, but another thing to be able to be part of the raising of them.
Yeah.
Is such an honor, an obligation, and a blessing that I walk through every day. So how I escape is through them and through their eyes. It's through experiencing new things through them. It's through talking to them. It's through listening to them. My daughter Sydney and I do this thing called, she's 7, and we do this thing called questions. And she still allows me to tuck her in, and I'll do so until she tells me I'm no longer able to or allowed. And, in the dark, we sit and we ask each other questions. What's your favorite color? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you know what I mean? What did what's your favorite food? Getting to know her, to truly know who she is in a casual space, with no obligation. No, you don't have to clean. No, you don't have to put things away. No, you don't have to. And I look to do the same thing with my son, and to get to know and respect them in that way. That I'm still able with an iron fist to discipline them.
Yeah, of course.
But to respect them in that way. So they are my way of balancing. They are my way to check myself, to check my gut, to check my choices, to check, what it is. Am I a reflection that they can be proud of? And even in having them, my projects have become even more intense, because now, especially with the climate of this world, it's imperative for me to be, a woman, an African woman, an African-American woman, an entrepreneur, a mother that they can look to as, a true staple in their life, that they can look to, as a true pillar of strength and someone to admire. So they are my break. Yeah, for sure.
No, I love that. And I especially love the innocence and the fact that they are your anchor right now, because they're not teenagers. Hello. Yeah. That's why they're so adorable.
That's why they're so cute. So I'm going to take it for all it's worth.
That's right. You got a few more years before you're like, no.
You and I are going to have a separate podcast.
Exactly. Well, I'm thinking about your show when I was on This Is It TV a few months back. And at this point, by the time this airs, a few months back, and you were doing a special, because I know your show has various sponsors, and you were doing a special about a wine. What was it? Oh gosh, it was like a winery.
Yes, exactly. White Horse Winery was doing something amazing. Yep.
Yes.
Wednesday,
and that might be your new anchor. By the time Sydney is like 11, you're gonna be like, listen, my new pause is a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon.
So if we're gonna keep it real, like Pinot Grigio is my medicine. It does help. Mama needs her medicine every now and then. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. So if anybody would like to belly up with a glass of wine with me at any given point, I'm definitely down for that. My coffee and my wine I drink wine, coffee, and water. Those are the 3 beverages that I consume.
No, I totally love that. You are so amazing and ridiculous and incredible on every level. I love that. So how can everybody contact you? Like, how can they connect with you?
Yes, I want everybody to follow, fan, and like me. Please be part of the Scream Your Dream community. We have a Facebook group. Just simply search Scream Your Dream, and you can follow, fan, and like us at This Is It TV. At This Is It TV, our daily show airs each and every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, off of our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/This Is It TV. And on all social platforms, I am Cheldin Barlatt. That was the original. And, that's how it's going to stay, at least for now. So at Cheldin Barlatt and at This Is It TV, please follow Fan and like us. I mean, I am so grateful that you were able to have me on the podcast today. You are a gem. You are a gem, my friend, and I'm lucky to know you.
No, I love how we love each other, and I appreciate it. And I just have to highlight, don't y'all see how smooth she was when she did that close? That's all I'm going to say. She literally walks in her talk, because she said that, like, listen, oh, what? Hat switched on? Let me tell you about me. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I did.
Cheldin, you're so amazing. And as always, I mean, we could, like, we could go on forever and ever and ever, because that's what we do, and have so much fun doing it. So I thank you, and I honor you for carving out time. I know you have clients and students and children and a husband and all kinds of things to handle. So I super appreciate you being here with us today.
Of course. My pleasure.
You're amazing. So you stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Oh my gosh, Balance Boldly listeners, how amazing is Cheldin? I love her. Her show chats, her This Is It TV, her Scream Your Dream. Like, I love everything about her and her voice, just period. And I mean that literally and figuratively. If there was someone that I could just be like, I got a little bit of an entrepreneurial crush, I would say that it's Cheldin. So she's my entrepreneurial crush. She's just so amazing in her media mavenism, or ist. There's a word. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it up, as I typically do. I want to take a second and just thank you guys, as always, for having this opportunity, whether you were on your run, on the treadmill, in the car, walking down the street, whatever you were doing, when you carved out a space for us to talk to you right now and to share these literally plant these positive seeds in your life and in your relationships and in your business. I'm just so honored to be able to do it every single week right here on Balance Boldly. Of course, if you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe, rate, and share so you get all these notifications straight to your inbox and you don't have to chase them and just wait for emails. We want to make sure that other bold and brave have access to these valuable balance tools. You hear me? I can't talk again today. What's wrong with me? I think Cheldin took all of my voice because I was like so excited that she was here. Of course, I want to continue the conversation with you on Twitter, IG, and FB, which is Facebook. I'm at Balance Boldly, so you can always find me there. And as typical, I want to sign off with a little gentle honesty. My takeaway, and there were so many today that I took away from Cheldin Barlatt Rumer when she was here today. The firm takeaway for gentle honesty today, in her words, in a string that I pulled together, was find yourself. Stop whispering your wishes and scream your dream today. And then we want to put hashtag scream your dream, because that is her hashtag, and we want to make sure that we're all following her. Make sure, as a small side plug, because she is a power partner and a sister and a friend, make sure you check her out Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. That is every single day. This is a digital lifestyle series for you, bringing motivation and inspiration every single day on This Is It TV on Facebook. So please make sure you do that. We will make sure that the actual direct link to that is in the show notes on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else that we show up, in anywhere that you can get this podcast through any of your podcast catchers. We will make sure you do that. In the interim, if by chance, for some foolery reason, you are not already a member of the Dreamers Blueprint, make sure you go to dreamersblueprint.com and become an investor in yourself, learning how to maximize your potential and your profits as an entrepreneur and an entrepreneurial leader. We are speaking to both of you, helping you get to the next level and unlock all of the issues and challenges that are literally standing in the way of you getting to the next level. Go to thedreamersblueprint.com and invest in yourself, and I will be there to boldly stand and bring you value every single day. So I look forward to that. Until next time, I will see you on the other side of the moon. So enjoy your balance and do it boldly.